Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Arizona Sandlot All-Stars and the Indiana Bulls in the 11U Travel Ball National Championships, hosted by TravelBallSelect.com. I'm Casey Bass, joined by Rick Goff and our wonderful staff, whom I can currently hear all of their camera commands. Sherry Lynn Five Ash, Jay Williams, Todd Edwards, Abby Walker, and Jason Reeves. We're going to get this one underway. Sandlot are the home team, and Alex Palacios is on the mound, and he will see Chase Bennett. Bennett could not be any closer to the plate, and he gets hit.
Yeah, he was definitely up on that plate on that pitch, and Lids are setting the pace early here. They're going to make the pitcher own the plate as opposed to the hitter here.
So runner on first base very early. His toes were as close to the black as you could get. I don't believe I could lay my pencil between his toes and the black of the plate. Steven Hazlitt, he's the second baseman. He'll step in with a runner at first and nobody out. Fastball popped up and out of play. Makes it 0-1. Palacios, Jason, I got that right? Palacios, not even in the neighborhood. So Palacios from the stretch. Kicks, fires, and that baseball will follow the previous baseball and disrupt that perfectly fine baseball game over there. And it's 0-2. You guys have got to be running low on baseballs, man. Those things have been flying all over the place this week.
Yeah, we went through a lot of baseballs this week. We were here last week for the 9 and 10-year-old division, and the baseball supply was very high that weekend, and we're getting quite low this week with the bigger ages, 11s and 12s on here.
Yeah, we had the 12-year-old West Florida team who's playing in the championship here in a little while yesterday afternoon, and they hit. There's another plunked batter. Runner was going. We'll go to first and second with 2 hit by pitch. They hit 7 guys hit 8 home runs in one game.
Yeah, that team can swing it. There's no doubt about it. And matter of fact, on the upper fields, teams that were warming up would stop to watch them when they came to the plate.
The 17-year-olds.
The 17-year-olds. Yeah, they were lined up in the outfield watching those guys swing the bats. They put on a pretty good display yesterday.
I'm Casey Bass, joined by the National Tournament Director for Travel Ball Select. This is Rick Goff, and we have got this is a quarterfinal elimination game?
This is the quarterfinals, yes. These guys will, the winner of this moves on. And we got another plucked batter. That's a third one here, Casey.
Well, if you're going to do it well. So far, Alex has hit 3 of them.
I might have to get on the phone here to get a trainer on standby down here at this time if this keeps up.
Well, the good thing is he hit him in the top of the helmet. We did a lot of talking yesterday. I had a chance to tour the Rawlings plant in St. Louis a few years ago. And first off, we want to appreciate and say thanks to Rawlings for their support of this tournament and this webcast. But I got the chance to watch them test the batting helmets. And I've felt really good as Lucas McNew takes strike one. Felt a lot better about seeing a kid get hit in the batting helmet after watching him shoot 119-mile-per-hour fastballs at this helmet repeatedly until it breaks. And I think it took 2.5 days to break the helmet.
Wow.
They're very stringent testing procedures. It was fascinating to me. And so that's why you see that kid just kind of bound out of there, because those helmets are made well.
Well, the safety equipment's come a long way.
Line drive's going to get into the hole. Diving McKay Barney gets past him. A good effort. But that's going to score 2. Not in time at third base. And a 2 RBI double for Lucas McNew as a baseball game breaks out in the middle of our conversation. How dare they?
They have some nerve, but that was he laid out for that one. You got to give the kid credit, giving an all-out hustle play. At this point in the stage of the tournament, you've got to take some gambles and some risks and try to come up big, and he fell a little short on that one.
Runners at second and third now, nobody out. That one's inside again, and that curveball catches the inside corner to Brody Heaton for strike 1. Lucas McNew got a pitch up in the zone. He was able to drive it into the left field corner, and as Barney went diving for it, it got by him. Here's one to the second baseman. That's Alexander. Run's going to score up and over to Kai Murphy for the first out of the inning. Hemingway comes in and makes it 3-0.
Nice job on hitting there. All he wants to do in that situation is get the ball to the right side to get the runner in from third. Sandlot takes the out, gives the run up for an out. It's early in the ball game. Right play there, that's for sure.
So McNew moves over to third. Brody Heaton gets an RBI, and Colton Becks, with one out, will try to drive one in.
And he's thinking the same thing here. Let's just get the ball to the right side, get it in play, get a run in. But Sandlot looks like they've brought their infield in. They got to stop the bleeding here, so they're going to try to cut this runner down at the plate, it looks like.
Yeah, you got one out, three in. Enough is enough, and it's time for a change. Seems to be the motto here. Off-speed pitch, chopped, third base. Gonzalez got it, has it, comes home, and Kelton with a nice block. And the strategy works out. Bring the infield in, come home 5-3, and Becks goes to first, and there's two outs in the inning.
Yeah, sometimes the players make the coach look like a genius. Sometimes they make him look like a fool. And that time he looks like a genius with that play as they cut the runner down at the plate.
And it is Xavier Hendigas as we throw over. Xavier Hendigas. And I've got my, in between innings, I might have to remember to change my card around. I've got some positions wrong on the other side of my old cheat sheet here. Hendigas is going to pop it up. Kai Murphy battling the sun, and he'll reel it in. So it could have been a lot more damage, but they stopped the bleeding at 3. We go to the bottom half of the first inning. Indiana 3, Arizona nothing. All right, on the mound will be Alex Hemingway. Hemingway. It's going to be hard for me as an English major. Get to Hemingway instead of Hemingway. Hemingway has four innings remaining, and he will see McKay Barney, the left fielder, to lead it off. Barney's going to square to bunt. Hemingway on. Bare hand up. Ooh, he's speedy and gets him by a step. That was fielded cleanly. He bounced off the mound and still only got him by a step.
Yeah, he fielded it with his bare hand, and again, that's one of those plays. If he tries to field it with his glove in his hand, he probably don't get the kid as he travels down the line pretty quick. But by bare-handing it, got him by half a step. That was a great play by the pitcher.
This Bulls team has a feeling like they're a team of destiny. They were winning a game last night late. Bases are loaded. The other team has the bases loaded, and the skies open up, and it's rain out. And so they win the game with the bases loaded. And then today they come out and they beat the number 2 team in the nation to get to this point.
Yeah, the game last night, Casey, was a tough one to call for me. They were in the fourth. They had 4 complete innings, which by our rules and our standards is a complete game. If weather should happen to break, as it did. And skies opening up is an understatement because
Right.
It was raining sideways here last night.
And lightning.
And lightning, and so we had no choice to call it, and I felt bad for the team out of Texas, which was Team Mizuno.
Grounded to the shortstop, Helton. Helton makes a good play and gets my first base umpire all confused, but Brody Heaton, as he's pulled off the bag, gets the tag on the Carson Tucker, and 6-3 for the second out of the inning. That's a really good play by Heaton at first.
Yeah, that was heads up. Most kids, they tell the kids just catch the ball first. He was able to keep his mind set together, caught the ball, and they were able to apply the tag on him. That was a good play by him, and the right call by the umpire.
The center fielder, J.D. McLaughlin now, as Hemingway has gotten 2 ground ball outs and off-speed pitch for strike 1.
This game here for Sandlot out of Arizona has got to be a tough one for these guys to play. I mean, it's a 3-hour time difference for these guys. So basically back in Arizona, it's 7:15 in the morning.
And this is their second game today.
True. Yeah. So their first game, which was at 8, is like playing at 5 o'clock in the morning for these little guys. And I don't know who it's harder on. If it's harder on the parents or harder on the kids.
It's harder on the parents.
I'm sure it is. No doubt. I'm sure it is.
There's one in the dirt.
These kids are just happy to play baseball. They could play at midnight, 5 in the morning. It doesn't matter to them.
We get to be dirty.
We get to be dirty.
We get to be dirty.
They
let us spit. It's a good game.
Right. I'm going to use that. We get to be dirty.
That's why my favorite baseball player growing up, grounded, we'll talk about it more after this, to Hazlitt, and Hazlitt over to Heaton. And it's 3 ground balls, 3 outs, 3 up, 3 down. We go to the second inning, 3-0 your score. I hate this ball. I hate this ball.
The golf cart key down somewhere.
Palacio's back on the mound, and he'll have Ian Pelfrey. I played baseball with a Pelfrey growing up. He was not from Indiana. Off-speed pitch in for a strike. Looks like Alex is settling down after he hit the first 3 batters, and they all 3 came in to score. I don't know if you listened to our first game. We had Chance Beam up here, and Chance was talking about how there was a study that some guys did at Valdosta State of Major League ball games, they did an entire season, and they found that if the leadoff batter in an inning reached base in any way other than a hit by pitch, error, walk, 93% of the time they scored. That's in the major leagues.
That's a staggering number. In the major leagues, those are pitching dominant leagues, and 93% is just a staggering amount. But lead off anything kills you. And it's proved fact here today for the Bulls and Sandlot is that kid was hit first, scored.
Yeah, they had 3 free passes and 1 hit, and they're up 3-0. This one's going to be grounded on the third base line. Diving try, foul. I'm going to have a hard time on third base today. I'll have to remember to look at my monitor, but we're blocked out by the sunshade, which doesn't hurt my feelings a bit because I know how much that sunshade means to those parents who are sitting in those stands all day long.
All day for hours upon hours, and it's a big plus for them.
Fastball inside corner freezes him, and Pelfrey goes down looking, and I think Mr. Alex has settled down.
Well, I tell you what, I give the young man a lot of credit. He hit 3 batters in the first inning, and he's still willing to pitch inside, so that shows a lot of poise right there.
Yeah, he kind of bounds off the mound. He seems like one of those kids who's just full of energy. That's at midnight after 4 games, is running around the hotel trying to jump in the pool. And there he throws a little swerve or something in there, catches the outside corner for strike 1 on Connor Hurt, the extra player. Look at the forearms on Connor Hurt. Looks like he can put a hurt on a baseball.
Yeah, there we go.
Just misses that one. He's going to pop that one up. Alexander's there, and very quickly, 2 outs. So the first inning going a lot different. Or the second inning going a lot different than the first inning for Palacios. That'll bring up Luke Helton. Helton, the third baseman. With 2 outs and nobody on. Fastball swinging and fouled back.
Yeah, Luke's the son of the coach Mike, and that's a tough situation for father and son to be in, because parents always think that you favor your kids, and Luke's down at the bottom of the order here, so definitely there's no favoritism here in this lineup.
I don't know. There are two things in this world that I don't believe I could do. I could not work with my wife, and I don't think I could play for my dad. My dad never coached me. Like, we worked together away from the field, but my dad had the good sense that he never coached me, and I just don't think it would have worked out.
Well, I'm crossing two of your lines then, because I'm working with my wife here this week, and I coached my son back in Michigan. I coached him for 8 years.
That being said, I can't wait to coach my little girl at whatever she wants to do. I'm just hoping she picks something like that's not tap dancing, because I'll have to learn how to coach tap dancing, because I can't wait to coach my little girl. But yeah, me and my dad, our personalities are so alike that I just think we would have killed each other. So here's a 3-up, 3-down inning as Sammy Gonzalez scoops that one up from Luke Helton, and we'll go to the bottom half of the second, 3-0. Heart of the lineup here for
Sandlot.
The Arizona team.
Sandlot out of Arizona.
For Sandlot out of Arizona. Jason flipped my card over. He's doing a great job, and I'm used to being backwards. So when I looked up, it was right instead of wrong, and it got me all confused. And Hemingway's first offering is a fastball in the dirt.
What a great name for a youth baseball team. Sandlot.
Oh,
Sandlot
yeah.
All-Star. That's a great name.
Hemingway's fastball is going to be ripped up the middle past Luke Helton. So the number 4 batter, Sammy Gonzalez, has got himself a single and a chance to close the gap as they trail 3-0 here in the bottom of the second inning.
You know, a quick story about the Indiana Bulls here, Chase, is they're predominantly known for their older age groups, like that you see playing on top of the hill there.
Right.
And they just got into the younger age groups here in the last couple of years. So, for being fairly new in the market, they're putting together a nice little team here.
Bunt popped up and out of play as Palacios tries to help himself here. He had a rough first 3 batters as he plunked them, but he has since bounced back.
Now, Chase, what would happen in the big leagues if a pitcher hit three in an inning and then he comes up to the plate?
Everybody would run out and act like they were going to fight, and then they would go have beers together because they're so ridiculous. Diving stop by Hendiges. Hendiges is going to go to second for 1. They're not going to get the speedy pitcher at first base, but Xavier Hendiges goes to his left with the glove, gets up in a hurry. Hazlitt with a quick turn makes it closer than it should be at first base for an outstanding play to retire Gonzalez.
Another half a step, that would have been a double play, and we've seen quite a few of those. Talking to the fans and the coaches out here with the talent that's assembled here this week, people are just amazed at the number of routine double plays, 6-4-3, 5-4-3, 4-6-3, that these young men are able to turn, and that one was very close there.
Camden Kelton now steps in. You know, I've been listening to a lot of coaches that play it from all over the country talking about how much they've enjoyed this tournament. What is it that you guys have sought to set yourselves apart? How have you tried to set yourselves apart from the other tournaments?
Well, what we've done, Chase, is we want to run an event. You know, people run tournaments all over the country. We want to make this an event, give these young men here another option to play. There's a lot of youth organizations out there in the country, and they have their World Series that they hold, you know, at various sites throughout the United States. But we
fastball lifted high in the straightaway center field. Going back at the wall is Bennett. Bennett's going to field it cleanly and get it in. And backing it up is Hemingway. Nice job out of Chase Bennett to get that one off the 250 mark and hold Camden Kelton to a very long single. Put Palacios at second, Camden at first, and that'll bring up Kai Murphy with one out. Go ahead.
Another 5 feet, we would have had a 3-2 ball game. That one just missed. But as I was saying, you know, we're just trying to do something here a little bit different, give these young men a different option, a different feel to the game. You know, we invited these teams all starting back in January to come to this event, and you know, we're touting ourselves as the National Travel Ball National Championship, not a World Series. It's a little bit different. You know, we're saying, hey, we're bringing in the best of the best, and at the 11-year-old division, we brought in 19 of the top 25 teams from throughout the country. So this division is very, very heavily stacked. And just to make it to where these guys are today is just an accomplishment in itself.
Well, and in order to get better, you must continue to play competition that's as good as you. And when you get to be this good, that's difficult to find. So to have an organization that's going out there and bringing these kids together gives them an opportunity to do two things. To, number one, find out how good they actually are.
Yep,
and number two, to play against that competition, to sharpen the edge against a hard stone and actually get better. You know, we watch this West Florida or the Central Florida Gators team, the 12-year-olds, yesterday hit home run after home run after home run after home run. In 2 games, I think they hit 15 home runs on our field. They go out this morning and see the number 1 team in the country. It's a 1-0 ball game.
1-0 ball game, and that run was scored on a suicide squeeze.
Yeah, the lefty goes out and throws a one-hitter.
Yeah. Lefty, we had him, the radar guns were out there for 12 years old. We had him clocked at 77 to 79
That's
at 12 years old.
Ridiculous.
At 50 feet, you don't have a lot of time.
That's about 4 miles per hour of adrenaline, too, I think.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure in a big game like that.
Talking to their manager, and they had a different kid penciled in to pitch. And he came up to him before the game and said, I want the ball. And they said he kind of had that look in his eye, and they just said, okay, you got it. Yeah, and he went out there and threw a one-hitter against the number 1 team in the country.
That's impressive for a 12-year-old kid to come and tell you that. I say kid, but some of these kids, I'm 6'3", Chase, and there's a couple of these kids here I'm looking eye to eye at 12 out here.
But one of their kids is 6'4", 225.
Yeah.
6'4", 225.
I'll tell you a funny story. The first day, the umpires walked up to him because he thought he was a coach.
They asked his dad how big he was. As ball 4 sails wide, he said, "Oh, well, I'm only 6'4" and a half." I got a feeling when TJ gets to be 6'5", his dad's gonna say, "Well, I'm 6'5" and a half."
6'5" and a half. You're never smaller than your kids.
Never. Base is loaded here with 1 out, and Hemingway has got himself into a jam. Kai Murphy walks, and that brings up T.J. Clarkson, the right fielder. Stretching, kick, and fired. Fastball catches the outside corner. Nice job, Lucas McNew behind the dish, framing that one up for his pitcher. All-speed pitch sails wide, and it's 1-1. You know, when I was with Clubhouse Gas, I traveled all over the country to event after event after event like this, talking to kids, talking to coaches. And the one thing that I've come away with most of all, 1-1 pitch, fouled right back at me. I'd have caught that if it wasn't for that fence. Let the record.
I seen the cat-like reflexes you had there. You were all over it.
I was right on it. Was that travel ball is not about the kids as much as it's about the family. Because it's not little Johnny who's playing travel ball. It's the whole family who's involved. Because once you go on the road, everybody's on the road. And everybody's invested. And I think what I've noticed, strike 3 catches the outside corner, and that's a big, big out for Alex Hemingway. And now he has an opportunity to get out of this inning with the bases loaded unscathed. But is that you have taken care of the parents. You know, there's a lot of different things for them to eat, a lot of different things for them to do. I love the facilities here at East Cobb. They've got shaded areas for the parents to sit. There's shade everywhere. And the parents seem to be in a really good mood because you get the feeling they're not used to being treated this way.
Yeah, and that's a big point, too. When you put on these tournaments, you're not just doing it for the kids. The families are involved. I know we got a ground ball here.
Yeah, it's going to get through the hole. I thought it was going to get through the hole. That's some kind of defensive play as Stephen Hazlitt continues to show out. He gives ground into the short right field area, scoops that one up and fires it over to Heaton to save a run. Alexander's got to feel like he got robbed there. He thought for sure he had a base knock, but we've kind of learned in this tournament, any ball hit the right field, be heads up. It may not be over with yet. So they load them, but they can't push anybody across as Alexander's retired at first. We go to the third inning, 3-0 your score.
We got a ground ball here.
Yeah, it's going to get through the hole. I thought it was going to get through the hole. That's some kind of defensive play. The Bulls have the top of the lineup, Bennett, Hazlitt, Hemingway. Hazlitt showing out at second base.
Well, if this is the top of the lineup coming up, it's pretty easy to figure out what they did as he plucked the first three batters, so it's a lot of hit by pitches here coming up.
Yeah, they haven't had a chance to swing the bat. So Bennett was plunked and scored in his first at bat. Now they will shift the outfield, and he's going to rip one to left field. And there is McKay Barty. So off-speed pitch. They shift around for him to pull. Nice job of coaching there. Has him right on the spot, and a hard hit ball results in out number one.
Yeah, Barney got a great read on that. Great jump. They made a nice running catch there. You know, it's what hardest thing to do for these young outfielders is judge a fly ball. So if you can find some outfielders who can judge a fly ball, you're ahead of the game.
Hazlitt now bats with one out. And looks at a 37-foot fastball for ball one.
A little short.
Palacio started off rocky. Again, plunk, plunk, plunk to start. But he has settled down and pitched a really good 2 innings since then. And this one's going to be ripped to shortstop. Took a little weird hop there for Tucker. Tucker gets his glove on it. But reaching safely for the second time today is Hazlitt. Looked like Tucker was going to decided to give ground, and as he gave ground, it did something he wasn't expecting. And again, around that second base area is where a lot of that water from that gully washer is what we call it in South Georgia that we got last night. When we got here this morning, there was standing water on all the fields. So all the dust problems we had yesterday shouldn't be an issue today. But the fields are playing a lot differently for the infielders than they did yesterday.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've talked to a couple of coaches over this morning who made the same comment. But you know, Wes Fields, who's in charge of the grounds here at East Cobb Baseball Complex, did a tremendous job. Him and his crew getting these fields ready today.
Yeah, I thought when I got here at 6 o'clock this morning, no chance we start on time. I was wrong. They've got them whipped into shape and looking perfect.
We didn't get out of here till probably pushing 11 o'clock last night, and I made a phone call to Wes last night, asked him about it, and he was back out here early this morning. We were in communication this morning, and he assured me that, Rick, we will have no problems to get this going this morning.
Cameron Kelton does a pretty good job of getting out to block that one, but Palacio missed pretty bad on that one, and It's going to advance the runner to second base. So he's kind of one of those all-or-nothing guys right here. He is either completely dialed in or he can't exactly find a spot. He doesn't miss by a little. And I think that's one of those things is this one's going to be drilled into the gap in left field. Let's see if he can score. Helton's going to be on his horse, making the turn. He should score standing up. But they are going to hold him at first base. So an RBI single for Hemingway helps himself. Give an RBI, and it's 4-0. I think that's a good thing. I'm not saying that as a bad thing for Palacio. That's the difference. I think that's the difference in good and great. Like the guys who are good and great, there's a very thin line for them there. You either can't touch them at all, or they can't find the plate. And what they do to become great is they learn how to eliminate that second part. And once they've eliminated that second part, they've already got the great part down pat.
Yeah, that's an accurate statement. And the one thing that we got to remember throughout this whole park, you're looking at 11 and 12-year-olds.
11-year-old, and there's no telling what's going through that kid's head.
Right. We don't know if he's thinking about where he's going to have lunch, what they're going to do when they get to the pool.
You don't know what little girl just walked by and he's trying to impress her. There's no telling what's going on.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely. I coached at this level for a lot of years, and matter of fact, I'm getting back into coaching here next year.
Fastball drilled, foul. Coach tried to barehand that, but luckily for him, he thought better of it.
He had better thoughts of that.
He might have ended up like Andrelton Simmons with a broken pinky.
But yeah, anyway, I'm getting back into coaching, Casey. I'm going to be coaching an 11-year-old team next year. Motor City Hit Dogs out of Michigan.
What a good name.
Yeah, that's a great organization.
Motor City Hit Dogs.
Motor City Hit Dogs.
Oh, there's a drive. Deep left field. And it's going to be out of here. That looked like it might get down and catch the top of the wall, but no such luck for Palacio as Lucas McNew, for the second time today, has 2 RBIs. That's a 2-run dong. 4 RBIs for him. Make the score 6-0.
What a nice swing the young man put on there. That was nice, compact, level. And she got out of here. There was no doubt about it when it left the bat. That thing was getting out of here.
You have to be careful out here because of the height of the fence. There's been some missiles that were still rising when they got to the wall that ended up being singles. But that one got up high enough and got out again. We'll take a look at it as we look at maybe a pitch and change.
Motor City Hit Dogs.
Oh, there's a change up, deep left field, and it's going to be out of here. It might get down and catch the top of the wall, but no such luck for Palacio as Lucas McNew out of the box for the second time today. Lucas has 2 RBIs. That's a 2-run on the day and a 2-run homer. 4 RBIs for him.
What a great experience for that young man. You can see him smiling when he's around at second base, and what a nice swing. That's got to be a tremendous feeling for the 11-year-old here.
We'll keep it right here while we have this pitching change. It was a tough start for Alex with hitting those. Standing on the plate. I mean, on the plate. Or maybe he did and decided he was going to brush him back. But as a leadoff batter, you're just trying to get on base. And Bennett did a good job of sticking his elbow out there and being in the way as that one brushed him, and it just kind of started a chain of events that ended up with it being 6-0.
Believe it or not, Casey, even at this young age at 11, I mean, there's little mind games that go on that's above and beyond the game. Like you said, he was right up on top of the plate, so that batter was playing a mind game from the very first pitch.
They're going to bring Kai Murphy in, the lefty here. I don't know what he's got on his fastball, but I just saw him throw some sort of nasty swerve up there.
Well, he's a lefty, and anything that goes on in sports, and all the lefties cheat at everything they do.
Well, they play from the wrong side.
Right.
It's not fair.
That's not fair.
And there's fastball, catches the inside corner, and he starts Brody Heaton off with strike 1. Let's see here what we've got for innings. He's got 1 inning left. That's all he's got. So he can finish this one and get 1 out in the next one. Fastball upstairs for a strike. Is your wife left-handed?
No. No.
It sounds like a comment I would make if my wife was left-handed.
No. Well, I had mentioned that, coaching baseball earlier. My team is always, I seem like I never had a left-handed pitcher.
Yeah.
They were all righties. So, I was always complaining that the left-handed pitcher was balking when he threw to first base and picked us off. And, left-handed hitters are closer to first base. I've always said, let's just have a tournament for fun one day and let's play it backwards. Let's make third base, first base, and give the righties the advantage for a change. See how the lefties like
That's
it.
a decent idea. That's a decent idea. This kid's curveball breaks a mile. He tried to throw another one there, and it kind of got away from him. He's got a 3-foot break in that curveball.
Again, the lefties, they don't even have to try to throw a curveball. They just throw it naturally, and it's got a little break to it.
Yep.
Righties pay thousands of dollars in lessons to get that taught to them, and lefties do it naturally.
There it is. He's going to get a ground ball. That's going to go to Palacio. And
Foul ball.
Again, I'm just guessing. Anything down the line at third base, pure guess for me.
Well, I know yesterday when you were doing the telecast, you had the honor and privilege of sitting outside up on the hill there at the Diamond, and I'm sure it was quite warm for you up there.
Let me just say that I have enjoyed the air conditioner. Here's one line to the left field for a solid single. As we watch Brody Heaton run down to first base, you realize Brody Heaton's a big old boy.
That's a big boy.
There's a trade-off. These windows don't open. Apparently they haven't opened in 15 years, but I enjoy hearing the game, and it's difficult to call the game when you can't hear it and feel it.
Gotcha.
But I'd much rather feel the air conditioning than feel the game, so I'll take the trade-off.
So you'll take the trade-off?
Not complaining.
You take the air conditioning for a blocked third base view?
My executive producer, she's down there in the A-team van. She's sweating right now, and she's saying bad words to me, I promise you. This is tough for me. This is the first time I've done one of these when I wasn't sitting next to her, which is I'm having a little bit of separation anxiety.
So
Been doing this for a long time.
So what you're saying is that you'll eventually pay for this somewhere down the line?
Yes. Always do.
Without a doubt.
Always do. Colton Beck's now. Beck's singled in his first at-bat. 1 out, 3 in. And the lefty, Kai Murphy, trying to stop the bleeding here.
Boy, he had a good hack at that one, man. He set back, and he just missed that one. He took a nice cut, waited back, and ended up fouling that one off.
Kai Murphy, who looked really good at first base earlier, he's having a hard time getting that curveball to break off for him. That's obviously his out pitch, which I don't blame him because I saw him throw it in warm-ups and my mouth dropped open. But he's having a little bit of difficulty getting on top of it right now. Fastball popped up right side. In foul territory, running over the shoulder catch, Sammy Gonzalez. Sammy Gonzalez with a big league play.
Wow, that was a nice play by the first baseman. Very tough play. Anytime you got to look back over your shoulder like that, if nobody's tried that, it's not an easy thing to do. And again, I can't stress enough, that's an 11-year-old making that play.
And he's running back into the sun. He's looking back into the sun at that ball. So now we'll throw over. That may have been a courtesy throw for Kai Murphy. Give a big man a chance to catch his breath. We had your basic 1.5 foot lead over there. Kind of like the umpire brushing the plate off after the catcher takes one. This one's driven into deep center field. Going back is McLaughlin. He's going to look up, and that one's going to sail out of here. That got out in a hurry. Xavier Hendigas gets a hold of one for our second 2-run homer of the day, and it is 8-0.
Yeah, Sandlot's in a little bit of a jeopardy here. The Bulls got the momentum rolling. Everything they're doing is right now. Everything that they're hitting is hard, and 2 of them have got over the fence right now. So it's a big momentum swing here. As the Bulls are definitely got the momentum here.
I've got to give it to the Bulls fans. This is the first time in 2 games that I've been able to hear fans cheer through the wall and through my headphones. They were getting busy down there.
Well, teams from Indiana, Chase, and when I put this tournament together, most people, and I'm sure down here in Georgia included, think that they only play baseball in 3 states. They think it's California,
Texas, Florida, and Georgia.
There you go. And we'll throw in the 4th for Georgia. So
you got to include Georgia because that's where I live.
The Bulls are definitely the talk of this tournament because
and that's where East Cobb baseball is. So
East Cobb baseball's in Georgia. I think the people in California probably don't know where Indiana even is on a map.
No, these kids are wondering, what is it? Is that near Oregon? Here's another one, driven high and deep and out of here. Big fly into the trees. Third home run of the inning, and we're at the bottom of the lineup. That's Ian Pelfrey. Now, the Pelfrey I played with, he could poke one like that too, and that's a no-doubter. And it's 9-0.
That one, there wasn't a park going to hold that one.
Man.
That was in the treetops.
He got one up in the zone, and he popped it. So we're going to take another change here. They're going to bring Gonzalez in from first, it looks like. They'll get everything switched out. And we'll take a quick break right here while we get it sorted out of who's coming in, who's going out, and who's going to hang around. It's 9-0 in the third inning. Jacob Murphy's going to come on the pitch, and as he does, we will look at the pitch that drove him out of there. All of a sudden, I feel like I'm in a fishbowl. Does it sound like I'm in a fishbowl to you?
It changed a little bit.
Yeah, something has happened. Anyway, big fly high. Ian Pelfrey hits a home run. So we'll go back to Connor Hurt. Hopefully I don't sound like this in the truck. Maybe it's because they have the monitor still on in the truck. Can you hear me in the truck, ladies? Thank you. Still sound like I'm in a fishbowl, though. Something has changed here. I don't know if it's changed down there. But we'll deal with it.
Nothing's coming through on my headset, Casey, so you sound fine here.
All right, well, good. Must be me then. So we'll just turn me down. There we go. All right, so Connor Hurt in there. And this kid's got a little pep on his fastball. Hard-throwing right-hander is Jacob Alexander. 9-0 the score. A 6-run explosion here behind 3 home runs for the Bulls. And he sails wide.
I know you mentioned earlier that the young man, that the left-handed pitcher, had 1 inning left, and I'll explain that a little bit to the folks out there. This tournament has a rule that says these young men can only pitch 11 innings during the entire tournament. So the coaches use that 11 innings however they see fit for the 4 days that they're here. And so by the pitching count totals, he had already thrown 10 innings.
Right. And he recorded 1 out, I believe. And the young man we're talking about, Mr. Murphy, will take that on his own and step on the bags. We should have 2/3 of an inning left. So Connor Hurt grounds out, but not before they score 6. We go to the bottom half of the third, 9-0 your score. It's going to be Grant Gorell. Do I have that right? Gorell? Mr. Reeves? Grant Gorell from the left side, and he will see Alex Hemingway. The big righty Wines fires and misses wide for ball one. Still on the first trip through the lineup is Hemingway. He's pitched a good one. Given up 2 hits, got a strikeout. And most importantly for his team, no one has scored.
At this point, Sandlot's just looking for something. I mean, they're starving for something to get going, and they want to try to get that goose egg off the scoreboard and move forward with what they want to do here.
Hemingway having a hard time finding the strike zone. The last thing that you want to do with a 9-run lead is walk somebody.
That drives a coach crazy when you're up 9.
There's a fastball that finds the outside corner.
When I was coaching, one of the things I would tell my kids when we had a lead like this was like, just hit a bat.
Yeah.
Don't worry about hitting the catcher's glove. Hit a bat.
2-1 pitch in the dirt. Big New has not really been in much of a situation that's been that drastic for him behind the plate, but he seems to have very good fundamentals, even with nobody on. And ball 4 sails wide, and he does just what we thought. And according to Chase Beam, who we had in our first game, 93% of the time, that guy's going to score.
Well, I was just getting ready to say we're going to test your theory here. We got to walk and see if that 93% is going to hold true here.
So we're going to have a chat. Let's see if we hang with him. He's probably saying to him, we have a 9-run lead. Let's don't walk anybody. Hit a bat.
Hit a bat. Hit a bat.
I love watching Tim Hudson pitch with a lead. I think Tim Hudson pitches with a lead as good as anyone I've seen, because he does just that. You're just going to have to pound me to death if I've got a 4 or 5 run lead.
And that's the way it should be. I mean, that's, sometimes I think some coaches might outthink themselves. Coach, look at the scoreboard. It's 9-0. Just,
right.
Throw fastballs in there and worry about the results later.
Yeah, we had a guy do that right there last night, throw over with a 10-run lead in the top of the 6th inning. Or it's a 9-run lead, the bottom of the 6th inning. And I'm going, really? And there was 2 outs.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I wouldn't be holding the runner around in that situation.
Right. Fastball inside for strike 1. Got some ice coming through the fence over there. Hopefully that's for the actual cooler and no one has banged anything up. Decent lead over there at first. This one's going to be trouble into right field. Going back for it and unable to make the play is Connor Becks. That one was kind of slicing off the bat from the very moment he hit it. Had a feeling that one could get down. So 2 on, as that's Lucas Hamza. He stands at first now. And that takes him back to the top of the order, and McKay Barney.
Yeah, that one seemed to give him trouble right from the get-go. Took a step in, took a step back. It was slicing away. And that's what I talked earlier in the broadcast about trying to find outfielders that could judge a fly ball in a great manner, and that one hurt him there.
Yeah, and any time you get a slicing ball into that sun, that early morning sun that's right on the level, is probably just coming right over the top of this building, that makes it difficult.
And that's no knock on the young men in right field either. I mean, that's tough, at any level. Any level when that ball's slicing like that.
So this is J.D. McLaughlin. It appears that they're not batting 12, they're just batting 9. So that's going to be Gorell at second base and Tucker at first base. And this is J.D. McLaughlin. And that's in there for a strike. You have to excuse us, folks at home. It gets kind of hectic when you're waiting on 2 games to finish to find out who plays here, and then you expect those excited coaches to fill you out a lineup on their way to come and play the game. Sometimes they make mistakes, sometimes we make mistakes, and we do our best to keep it straight up here in the booth. So that was the mistake there. But the good news is those kids who didn't start get their names called out. Double play, flat out, good athletic play by Hemingway. He gets over, catches it, fires back to second base. to retire Barney. So 2 outs now, runner at first for what should be Sammy Gonzalez, and it is.
Just when it looked like Sandlot was trying to put something together, runners at first and second, nobody on. Again, what we talked about earlier is everything seems to be going right for the Bulls right now, and Sandlot can't get anything to go their way.
Big Sammy Gonzalez has a single, and he jumps all over the first pitch and pounds it to the wall. On his horse is Tucker. Tucker's looking for third. Gonzalez, big turn at first. They'll get it in, and there'll be runners at the corners with 2 outs. How big was that getting picked off a second there?
Turned into be a big play. Again, now they've got something going, but 2 outs, it changes the whole dynamics of the game. I mean, it's base running mistake by the young men at second base, but again, I'm probably going to repeat this 4 or 5 times. They're 11 years old, right?
They're just kids. First one to Palacio, up and out of play. For strike 1. So threatening again, runners at the corners.
Chase, you've watched a lot of baseball this weekend. Have you noticed a size difference just in 1 year? 11
yes,
to 12.
From 11 to 12 is a ridiculous. There's another one drilled, and they'll get their first run of the game. As Palacio jumps on that pitch, gets himself an RBI, and it's 9-1. It's almost like that puberty has dialed itself in right at that 12-year-old age. Like everybody's hitting it, boom, 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 boom. I think for me it was later in my 12-year-old year, but these kids, it seems to be just like everybody's on the same cycle.
Yeah, it was very evident today walking around the ballpark, seeing the difference, and it's like you said, the puberty thing. It must have a 6-month window,
right?
To where it attacks and comes in and turns out that way. So
I think it shows the advantage of playing 11U and 12U instead of playing 11-12, which is what we used to play.
Sure.
When I was a kid, we played 11-12, and if you were 11, you sat. I mean, you just sat. Pop fly into the sun, handled by by Bex for the 3rd out of the inning, but they scratch 1 out. It's 9-1 as we go to the 4th inning.
I think the kid from Sandlot, the 1 run they just scored, I think he didn't even touch home plate.
Really?
I think he just totally missed it.
I've done that, and it's a bad feeling, and you are so confident running to the...
Right. Thought we were out.
Nine to 1 for Kai Murphy, and I'm back in the fishbowl. Wonder what that's about.
I don't hear it now. I heard it earlier. It went away, and it's not with me any longer.
All right, it must be my headset, so we'll just keep talking.
Nope, now it's back.
Yes, I don't know what's going on. Fastball's going to miss away. I have the book on the wrong side. To Luke Helton. Luke grounded out to third in his first at bat. Jacob Alexander still on the mound. And that one misses wide. Yeah, as long as they can't hear me on the thing sounding like this, we're okay.
Everything's good.
Fastball misses wide again, and again with a 9-1 lead here. Oh, I'm sorry, they're trailing, aren't they? Well, at least losing by 9 or by 8, you definitely don't want to walk anybody.
And
he walks a guy. So Helton will go to first on a free pass, and that'll bring up Chase Bennett, who's been hit by a pitch, scored, and lined out to left field.
Well, we can test your theory here again, as the first gentleman in the last inning got picked off at second base on a double play, so he did not score.
He did not score, but they did score a run, but it just wasn't him. He's in the 7%. There's another line drive to left field. That's going to get down. On his horse is Helton. Helton going into third base. Is there going to be a play? No. Slides in safely, and a stand-up double for Chase Bennett, who stands on base for the second time today, and threatening again are the Bulls.
Again, it looks like the Bulls, everything that they see being pitched at them probably looks as big as a beach ball here. I mean, they are just squaring up everything.
Well, they feel like they're the team of destiny, like everything is supposed to go their way right now, and it is going their way. Hazlitt has been hit by a pitch, reached on an error, and he has scored twice.
I'm sure before this tournament started, most of these teams thought they only played basketball in Indiana.
I did. What's the closest baseball team to, I guess, the Cubs?
Depends on what part of Indiana. You could be close to the Reds.
I guess you're right.
Yeah, you could be close to the Reds.
You could end up being an Indians fan. There's one that's driven to center field. Going back for it, McLaughlin and Clarkson not going to get there. They had him shifted to pull. He beats the shift, drives one off the Reebok sign, and 2 runs will score, and it's 11-1.
Got him on throwdown.
I looked down too early, trying to stretch it into a double, and he gets picked off. So they get an out of it, but give Hazlitt 2 RBIs.
If you're actually from northeast Indiana, you could be close to my beloved Detroit Tigers.
Verlander land.
Prince Fielder won the home run derby last night.
Did he? I don't know. I went home and went to bed. I
was told. I was here at 11 o'clock last night, so I got the memo.
I didn't see a single pitch of it. Prince Fielder, not that I would ever gamble, because gambling is against the rules, and I don't want to go to jail. Prince Fielder won me a lot of money the first time he won that thing. He was a 9-1 dog, and I said, those are odds good enough for me to take.
I'll take those.
I just happened to be in Vegas. I took him for $50, and that was a nice little day. So Grant Gurrell's going to come on and see if he can't shut down this Bulls offensive juggernaut that's got them a 10-run lead right now. They need to stop them right here, because now they've got to score. Well, they got to score 2 just to keep playing.
3
to keep playing.
They'll need to score 3.
It was Jose Bautista and Prince Fielder. Man, I bet that was entertaining.
That had to be fun.
They weren't hitting bloopers. They weren't just creeping over. So here we go. It'll be Alex Hemingway, who has been hit by a pitch,
there's
singled RBI, and hit one off the wall. And they're going to do a good job of coming in and picking that one up. And you got to get in. That would have scored another run had they not gotten Hazlitt at second base. So Hemingway with a long single. And the kid who hit the home run, Lucas McNew, will bat with a runner at first. We're going to get a courtesy runner. See if we can get a number on him. Can't make it out. Hazlitt. Hazlitt went off. And Connor Hurt comes back on. So it'll be Lucas McNew. Lucas is having a 2-for-2 day. He singled and homered. And Connor Hurt's going to scamper down to second base. And with one out, there's a runner in scoring position.
Well, this is the 4th day of our tournament here, and these teams have played a lot of baseball in 4 days. Sandlot, this is their 8th game in 4 days.
and make him 3 for 3 as he hits that one in the hole on the left side. They're going to come to third to try to get him, and I think they did. Good throw. That's a nice slide out of Connor Hurt, but they're able to retire him at third base, and so they've made an out at second and an out at third now. That's the old world-famous 7-5 put out. 2 outs, give McNew a third hit. And that brings up Brody Heaton. Brody has singled and grounded into a fielder's choice for an RBI. That fastball misses low. 11-1. We are in the top half of the 4th inning. McNew with a decent lead. Gurrell off-speed pitch that didn't change directions for ball 2. Oh, that's a good curveball. So it's a tournament like this, especially with an 11-inning pitch rule, that this turns into 100% pitching depth. As that line drive's going to get in and fair, right down the line, and they have been beating the left field line to death. Stand-up double for Brody Heaton's second hit of the day, and runners are at second and third with 2 outs. I guess it just comes down to pitching depth, really.
It does. It comes down to pitching depth. You know, you have to be smart as a coach and figure out how you're going to utilize your pitching throughout the tournament here this week. I mean, naturally, everybody thinks they're going to make it to the championship game, which will take, 7, 8, 9 games to get there. But, you have to use your pitching in order to get here. You don't want to go home with your best pitcher still sitting on the bench.
And there must be a superior advantage for staying in the winner's bracket if you make it to that championship game. You've got to have, 2 games less at least?
Yeah, it's a huge advantage up there. Saves pitching. You have time in between games. This game here, the Bulls came right from their game right onto this field and had to play right away. And that's the bad thing about being in the loser's bracket. It's a tough way to go.
Colton Becks fouls that one off at the plate. He has singled and popped out to first on that great over-the-shoulder catch by Sammy Gonzalez over there, if you remember.
That was definitely, so far, it's been the play of the game, in my opinion.
And that's Gonzalez there at second base. Gonzalez is just an all-around good infielder. I wonder if he plays anywhere on the left side of the infield. So 2 more runs coming to score as they get Colton Becks 11-1 as we go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Arizona needs 3. Mr. Alex Hemingway is going to do his best to close this one out. He has pitched well so far, only giving up 1 run. And as I look at my little fielding chart here, Sammy Gonzalez has played 3 of the 4 infield positions. Third base, remember he made that really good play over here at third, second base, and first. He's just been outstanding. There's a little single that's going to be blooped over the third baseman Hendricks' head, and a leadoff single for Kai Murphy. That's his second hit of the day.
Well, here we are with a 10-run lead in the fourth. The Bulls are going to need to score at least 4 to keep the game going, or the run rule will be in effect.
3, right?
3, I'm sorry. 3. It is 3. We'll see with a 10-run lead if the Bulls elect to hold the runner on at first.
I'm guessing they will. They threw over when it was 9-0. But then again, they're playing to get out of here and save as many innings as they can too.
Sure, that's a good point.
They're trying to play a 4. If they can play a 4-inning game, they want to play a 4-inning game. Especially in the bottom half of the bracket, we were just talking about that. You've got to play more games. You know, you're using up more pitching, and they were expressing, you know, they've got to be running out of pitching.
And the biggest thing right now is their next game would not be till 12:30, so that would give them an hour break, as opposed to the last game when they had to basically run right on the field.
That's right. I wonder if Larry Bird played baseball ever. Did Larry Bird ever play baseball? Are there cornfields in Indiana?
A lot of cornfields.
You could cut a field out of some corn.
A lot of cornfields.
Big lead for Murphy. Swing and a miss. So 1-2 now. Popped up right side, could be trouble. Coming on is Bex. Bex battling the sun, and he's got it against the line for out number 1. So T.J. Clarkson flies out to right field, and that'll bring up Jacob Alexander. Alexander, in his first at-bat, grounded out to the second baseman, Steven Haslett. And he's hacking. He's going to dribble one back to the pitcher. Up, and to get the lead runner was Alex Hemingway. Nobody was there to cover. He made a good throw.
The young man stopped running to first base.
Stopped running to first base, and they retired him. I got to quit looking at that on my book. Every time I look at that, I'm missing out. So Alexander, he didn't know what was going on. I didn't either, buddy. Don't worry about it.
He must have felt that he fouled it off his foot.
He might have. It kind of cued a little bit. So it was the old 1-6-3 put out. This one is going to be lined right at the left fielder and fielded easily, and that should do it. 11-1 is your final. He's Rick Goff. I'm Casey Bass. Want to thank SwingAway.com, Reebok, and Rollins for sponsoring this broadcast. For our camera operators, Jay Williams and Todd Edwards, our technical director, Sherry Lynn Fiveash, production assistant, Jason Reeves, and executive producer, Amy Walker. On color is Rick Goff. My name is Casey Bass. It's the Travel Ball National Championships, and it's brought to you by TravelBallSelect.com. Have a good day, everybody.